What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the single most important element that I've implemented into my businesses that have completely changed everything in my business, in my personal life, and just in my overall inputs as a whole. I'm going to be breaking down how I've implemented these and how you can implement this into your own business that hopefully helps take you from point A to point B. So without any further ado, let's jump into the video. Just quickly before we get into it, I want to show you where we are at with things. So yesterday we generated just over 9,800 in sales, and I want to show you the last 90 days so you guys can see a real-time update. The store's generated over $870,000 in the last 90 days, and we're looking to take things to the next level as we move into the rest of the new year after Chinese New Year. So if you guys don't know, Chinese New Year is a factory holiday where a bunch of the factories go down in China and a lot of the fulfillment teams go on holiday. It's basically their Christmas. So after that kind of gets out of the way, we're going to take things to the next level with scaling and hopefully take this store to $1 million months. So without any further ado, let's jump into the rest of the video. So how is it that people that seem to be getting the most out of their life get there by doing less? Yet when we look internally at our own businesses, our own startups or ventures, sometimes it feels like the more we put in, the more time, the more effort that we put in, nothing seems to work, or we don't get out that output that we're looking to achieve. Now, if that resonated with you, I think you need to hear this, because I think this one thing that I implemented into my businesses that changed everything for me could change everything for you as well. So through my initial entrepreneurship journey, I would always see people that seemed like they were doing so much. They were doing more, right? I would see them on social media. I would see them building this business, and just doing more is what it seemed. So I thought, if this works for them, then that's what works for me too, right? This is how you do it. And I couldn't have been more wrong. You see, I was putting in the effort, those 12, 14-hour work days of trying this, trying that, and, really just grinding and wasn't getting the result that I was hoping for, if any result at all. If anything, it felt like I was stuck, or I was, lost at the end of it all and just going backwards. So doing this, I found myself super burnt out. I found myself feeling lost and almost feeling like I needed to give up. And some people, if you're watching this right now, might be feeling like that's the case for you as well. So fast forward to years in my entrepreneurship journey, through the wins, the high wins and the low lows, I've learned one principle or one element that implementing into my business would skyrocket my success. And if I veered away from that element, typically it led to everything crashing down, failing, and being back to where I felt that I was before. And that core element is simplicity. You might be thinking, oh, and what simplicity? That doesn't make any sense. But let me explain how implementing simplicity and simplifying everything in my business drastically led to more outputs, more scalability, and more peace of mind when growing my business. Now, as Charlie Munger once said, we look to keep everything as simple as possible, not only in their own businesses, but the businesses that they acquired. Looking for business that had simple operations, things that made sense, that weren't overcomplicated, were things that they looked for when acquiring businesses, and obviously in their own businesses as well. And most times, overcomplication is the biggest driver in people failing in their business. It becomes their obstacle that they can't get over and leads them to becoming their own biggest enemy. Overcomplicating things make things more difficult than it needs to be, makes things less efficient, and honestly makes your business less enjoyable to run. And as many of you know, the main businesses that I run are e-commerce based, so selling products online. And I've implemented simplicity into my operations, how I manage my advertising, how I do my product research, and how I grow my businesses as a whole and keep things operating as smoothly as possible while being able to drive that needle forward. So I'm going to explain kind of some of the things I like to do when implementing simple systems into my business and how you can as well. So in this industry, there's tons of gurus and people out there pushing the narrative that you have to build this massive brand around your products in order to sell them, or build complex landing pages in order to take a customer through your checkout and purchase from your store, or that you need to be looking for the next biggest, newest trend in strategy for your Facebook ads or whatever other platform it is that they're trying to jam down your throat. when realistically this couldn't be further from the truth. And a massive lever in my success has been by going against the grain of what all of these gurus are talking about. You know, being very anti-culture in that sense and simplifying everything in my business, simplifying how I find those products, simplifying how I source my content, simplifying the way that I run my ads, simplifying the operations and the customer service and the fulfillment of my business. And simplifying all of this has allowed me to have those things running, right? I'm running a business that's generating, just one of my stores, over $250,000 a month in sales by simple systems, right? This allows me to focus on growth and allows me to focus on what's actually making the business money and keep everything else running smoothly and simply, right? Overcomplicating these would lead to, you know, more friction in my operations, more headache, and less focus on making more money. And for this one store, for example, the entire thing is ran by myself, 2 VAs, and a fulfillment team. And I don't have to hire a bunch of people or, you know, make things overcomplicated because I've created systems inside the business so that it virtually runs itself while I focus on building it up bigger. And that's it. Simple. Keep things simple. Now, I hope that this has kind of opened up your eyes to how you look at your own business or your thought process about how to actually scale. And most times it's not by doing more, it's by learning how to do less and keep more focused on the tasks that you're working on, right? I would much rather put in 4 hours a day of deep focused work than 12 hours a day of overcomplicated, not needed, and not systemized work. Right? If you can simplify the processes in your business, you're going to simplify the work input and keeping it more focused so that you can grow more output with less input. And that's the most important thing.